Wow, I've been sitting here for like an hour doing a huge haul of products tested, so that was a lot longer than I was expecting. Anyway, I guess, so today's video is another makeup video, but this one, I'm sweating. Why has it gotten so hot all of a sudden? This is insane. So I wanted to see how foundations would compare on very similar days where I'm doing the exact same thing over and over again. Heat, very similar. I'll see if I can get like an archive of what weather was like on those days, just so you can see. I tried out some affordable foundations and some high-end foundations that I have in my collection just to see which ones would work, because I swear by my Pat McGrath. However, the first week that I started at work, I realized that it was constantly breaking apart around my face and it just wasn't working for me. So I was like, I need to grab some of my long wear matte foundations and see what works, whether they're actually a more glowy finish, because I did test that on the first day. So all of my very long wear matte foundations, and tested each of them at very similar times of every day to see what was better. So let's compare. The first one is the Essence Brighten Up Cushion Foundation. I got shade 2 Ivory. I'm going to tell you how long this says it's meant to last and what my kind of thoughts were. And I have video proof of all of these as well. It says it's lightweight, buildable liquid formula. It has a natural finish with a brightening effect. Includes a mirror and applicator for easy on-the-go use. Probably would be good for on-the-go. But because it's a cushion foundation, firstly, I always feel like you don't get a lot. So this has 12 grams in it, whereas one of the other foundations I tested has 30 milliliters. So grams and milliliters are basically equal. So 12 milliliters or grams versus 30 milliliters or grams. It's not great, is it? And most of the time I find with these cushions is you have to turn them around constantly because the liquid sinks to the bottom and then the top sponge comes very dry, so you have to turn it around, and that just gets really messy. Just re-looking at the video, because it's been, I didn't realize actually how long this had been. This has been like 2 or 3 weeks now since I tested this. So it looked pretty matte to start off with, but obviously I powder foundation down completely. I was using the Makeup by Mario powder to mattify every single one of these. I tried to make sure I used very similar lighting at similar times of day on every single video I took. It looked really good to start off with, but by the midday point, you can see that it's starting to break apart around my nose. The rest of it doesn't look too bad. Probably needs to be powdered, but I didn't powder any of them just to be on the safe side. But yeah, my nose and my chin, it has that breaking apart sort of thing. Towards the end of the day, which was 6:43, you can really see it completely gone from my nose and my chin. The rest of my face looks great, but just those areas really struggled. For me, the rest of my face is like a 4. For the middle, it's like a 2. So I'm going to say this is about a 3 out of 5. The next day, I used a mixture. So this is actually one of my favorite long wear foundations, but I originally got the wrong shade, and I don't even know if I can still get this anymore. It also feels wasteful buying another one when I have a full bottle just in the slightly wrong shade, so I just add a little bit of something. This is the Profusion Flawless 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I got this in the shade Rose Ivory, but I mixed it with the Rem Beauty, because I got this from TK Maxx, nice and affordable, Fair One, because it's almost white. So I just lightened it up with this. Still not a great shade batch, but we work with what we have. What their website says is it's a full coverage multitasker designed to minimize all blemishes, delivering a flawless, even glow. The creamy, rich formula applies evenly to perfect and conceal with a natural looking finish, and it's suitable for all skin types. Oh, they have like lip things that look very similar to Makeup by Mario. Ooh, and they have a 30-hour super stay multitasking. Maybe I need to test that out. Focus. You can see it's very mattified. It's very similar to the first one. You'll realize because I'm using the same powder, I tend to get very similar finishes at the start of the day. However, by midday point, my face is definitely very glowy, very oily on my temple, and I'm looking very yellow. You can really see the shade mismatch around my nose where it's starting to break apart, and again, my chin. You can really see the matte thick layer on my chin, unfortunately. I think I must have blotted ever so slightly some of the oil away. I will say you can see a lot more texture, I think, with the Profusion than you could for Essence. And again, everything is just gone from my nose and my chin. So for that reason, I'm actually going to have to give this like a 2 out of 5. Now, this could be due to the fact that I have to mix it with another foundation, so it might be that it's more thick, but this is a more thick coverage foundation as well. So I'm not really going to put it down necessarily due to the fact that I used 2. The next one was a very high-end one. I'm not actually sure if you can still get this. Oh, you can actually get this for as cheap as $8.77 now. By Terry is an expensive brand. I got this off of TK Maxx. Surprise, surprise, I know. I wanted to try this because of the fact that it has SPF and it's full coverage and it's high end. This is in Fair Beige. The claims it's a concentrated soft focus prisms effectively hide blemishes and blur imperfections. Perfecting fluid for flawless finish. Convenient 35 milliliters. 35 milliliters, actually this is more than your normal. Again, looks very like mattified. and pretty flawless at the start of the day, whereas by like 1:10, it's broken apart a little bit on my forehead. Like, I don't feel like I have as much foundation there, and my nose is definitely still a sore spot, although it is still more covered than last time, and my chin is starting to break apart for sure. And then at the end of the day, again, my cheeks and my temples look pretty good, whereas nose definitely looks better than the Profusion, at the top of my nose at least. Round my nostrils, not so great. Nowhere near as bad. So I would say I would give this a 3 out of 5. Better than Profusion, but actually not as good as the Essence one. And then second to last, I have the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. 30 milliliters. It's a long, lightweight, and non-oily texture that feels like a second skin, provides a long-lasting, full coverage without mask effect feel, and creates an even complexion with high definition finish for camera-ready skin. So again, at the start of the day, very full coverage, very perfected. Looks really nice. By midday point, it's starting to break apart around my nostrils, but nowhere near as bad as any other foundation. And around my chin, you can see the oils breaking apart the foundation, but it's nowhere near as bad. God, my eyeshadow is really broken apart. I feel like the foundation has sort of melded back in with my oils a bit more, because it doesn't look anywhere near as bad. Whilst you can still see some skin peeking through, it's nowhere near as bad. This 100% was like a 4 to 4.5 out of 5. 100% the best so far. And then lastly, we have the most expensive foundation, I think, in this collection, which is the Dior Forever. I think this is the matte version. This is not the glow, I know that much. So this is like a £54 foundation. This is not cheap at all. I have it in shade 0N. Oh, by the way, I have this Catrice one in porcelain beige, although I do still think it's a bit yellow for me. I think there must be like 30 milliliters in this, but this is the old packaging. See, this is the new one. It says that it's blurring matte foundation, 24-hour high wear. So it's hard to know the exact specifics of this, although this does say 10 to 24 hour. So I assume that does mean it's meant to be 24-hour wear. I think it is meant to have similar claims. Start of day, very similar to Catrice. High coverage, looks very perfected, and that powder does me a world of fucking good. By almost 2 o'clock, it's looking good. It's looking honestly the best. Even my nose isn't looking too bad, although my chin is starting to fade, but it's fading in a way where it's not super duper obvious. And I took it in the original light, and I would normally take it in. By the end of the day, it's 7 o'clock. It is very similar to the Catrice, where it's starting to break apart on my nose, break apart on my chin, but it does look more natural looking than most of the other foundation. I will say it's starting to look like it's breaking apart in between my brows actually as well. Oh, my chin looks quite bad. I would give this one, it's either a 3.5 or a 4, which means that the best one is the Catrice, which is why I actually did a test of this. This foundation lasted so well through a super sweaty day where I spent almost 2 hours. Was it 2 hours or was it longer? It might have even been longer than 2 hours in a hot car with like no cloud cover, stuck in traffic, and also at a gig where I was like singing and screaming and jumping around and stuff. This is why I now have 3 of these. I have my original, which almost empty. I got a replacement for the same shade, and I also got another shade because I wasn't sure if this would actually be lighter, and it's not, it's actually darker. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this a like and subscribe if you like it, if you found it helpful at all. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye!